Hey, hello. Today we're going to talk about the state design pattern. So this is a way that we can change the behavior of an object depending on its internal state. What does that mean? So a real world example that they give a lot is a traffic light. It has three states, red, yellow, and green, and depending on the state of the traffic light, things are different. The behavior of traffic is different, right? So if it's red, the traffic will stop. If it's yellow, traffic is informed that it's going to turn red. And if it's green, traffic can go straight through. Another great example is in game development where a character on screen, there's so many different possibilities of what the input can be and what the character can be doing. So if you try to code that, it becomes a mess of if-else statements that just gets really out of hand really quickly. One of the ways that they get around this is to use states and state machines. We're not going to do anything near that complicated today. We're just going to look at our classic Space Marine. So this is from last time. I'll leave a link to the description or I'll leave a link in the description to our build design pattern where we just have our Space Marine with a name, faction, and loyal. We have a constructor that uses the build design pattern. We have our builder and our getters. And then in our main, we just have a Space Marine right here. Somebody pointed out that my Space Marine names aren't very Space Marine-y, so I changed it to Hadrian, and I'm of the faction Busirans. It sounds a lot better. So let's go ahead and create an interface that is going to be our state. And we're just going to have two things here on enter state. So whenever we change states, we want something to happen. And whenever we observe the object in the current state, we want something to happen. That's all we need just to demonstrate this concept. So let's have two states we're going to use. We're going to have a peaceful state, and we're going to have an angry state. Angry state. Boom. And this is going to implement our state interface. Now, when we enter our state, we're going to just print to the console. That's all we're going to do today. Keep it nice and simple. And we're just going to say Space Marine plus is going to battle. So he's entering the angry state, so now he's going to battle. And then when he's in battle, we want to observe him. And same thing, we are going to just print to console. We're going to say Space Marine is fighting, we'll say bravely. Boom. And there we go. So we need a few things here. It's yelling at me. It doesn't know what Space Marine is referring to. So we are going to put a final variable in here of type Space Marine. Import that. And we are going to make a constructor for our angry state. So public angry state. It's going to take a Space Marine. Space Marine. Space Marine. We're just going to say this dot Space Marine equals, come on, autocomplete, Space Marine. There we go. Now we're going to do something very, very similar for our peaceful state. Except, obviously our constructor needs to be peaceful. And then instead of saying is going to battle, when we enter this peaceful state, we're going to say is returning to base. And when he's in base and we observe him, we're going to say he is awaiting orders. He's peaceful, he's just relaxing, he's awaiting orders. There we go. So those are our two states, and now we need to tie this into our Space Marine. So on top of this, we are going to give it another variable, private state, and we need to add it to our constructor. So this dot state, and we're going to start him off in a peaceful state. Peaceful state. And then again, our state takes in a Space Marine, so we're just going to pass in our Space Marine. Go ahead and import that. It doesn't like me for some reason. Cannot convert from peaceful state to state. Add cast a state. No. This dot state. Blah blah blah. Oh, did I not? Yeah, I never implemented the state itself. I apologize. Implement state. There we go. Oh, that one I did. I just forgotten this one. Sorry about that. This should stop yelling. Cool. And there we go. So now we have the state variable, and so now we want to add some functionality for the state machine. So first thing we want to do is we want to make a private method just to change the state internally. So change state to, and it's going to take in a state. That can be either angry state or peaceful state. And we're just going to say this dot state equals new state. And then we want to call that method on enter state. That was the whole point. When we change states, something's going to happen. So this method is going to take care of that. Cool. And then we are going to give the user a way to change these states. So imagine like in a video game, if you press X, then it's going to call this method, which is change state. So private, and we're going to call it change orders. And all this is going to do, since we only have two methods in our states, we're just going to, or we only have two kinds of states, angry state and peaceful state. This method is just going to switch between the two. So we want to check if state.getClass.equals peaceful state, if I can spell, peaceful state.class. Cool, then we know that we need to switch to angry state. So we're going to call change state to, and we're going to say angry state, we're going to say new angry state, passing in this Space Marine. Else, boom. I really messed something up here, sorry. That goes there. Else, we know that we're in the angry state, so we are going to change state to a new peaceful, caps lock, unbelievable. What a useless button. Peaceful state. And again, passing in this Space Marine. Boom. So now it's getting mad at me because we want to add a return. There we go. Public void, change orders, change state to. Awesome. And then the last thing we need is we need a way for the user to observe the Space Marine. So we are going to say public void observe. And this is just going to check the current state of the Space Marine, and it's going to call that method observe. There we go. So I think that should be everything. Let's go ahead and check this out. So we already have our Space Marine here, so let's observe him. Let's see what he's got going on. And there we go. So we have com.adrian.model Space Marine at gobbledygook is awaiting orders. So what is this? This is a memory location, memory. Well, it's the hash of a memory location. This is the default toString method. It just points to the location in memory. But that's fine. Let's change that real quick. So we'll say public string toString. This is a built-in method in every object, in every class in Java, right? toString. So we can override this, and I mean, we often do, because, I mean, this memory and location, we don't really need that. So we're going to return, what are we going to return? We're going to say the Space Marine, let's get cute with it, plus name, plus of faction, plus faction, and that should be fun. Yeah, the Space Marine Hadrian of faction Busirans. Does that make sense? So now we change that, let's see what happens. Boom, and there we go. The Space Marine Hadrian of faction Busirans is awaiting orders. Cool, so now let's change his orders. And we can see the Space Marine Hadrian of faction Busirans is going to battle. Perfect. We have, and now when we observe, so again, the same method, observe, but it should give us a different result. And there we go, is fighting bravely. Perfect. Now let's change his orders again. He's been fighting. He's good to go back to base. Let's see what happens. There we go. It's returning to base. So you can see we have here two methods. We're only using two methods, but we're getting 4 different results, right? Awaiting orders, going to battle, fighting bravely, and returning to base. And then same thing, we should have come full circle now. If we observe him in his peaceful states, he's awaiting orders again. So again, as quickly as I can whip that together, this is an example of our state design pattern and some of its uses. I hope that was informative. Thank you guys very much. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.